She watched me like a hawk. Checked my phone. My laptop. Asked who I was texting. And the whole time, she thought she was the hunter. She wasn't. I saw the change in her before I ever found proof. The way she'd glance at my screen like it was blinking neon. The way she stopped kissing me goodbye in the morning. The way she'd pause before asking questions, like she was waiting for a lie. And the worst part? I wasn't cheating. But it didn't matter. Because in her head, I was already guilty. It started with her best friend, Liz, telling her that men always hide it well. That's all it took. Suddenly I was under a microscope I didn't know I'd been slid onto. I came home 10 minutes late. Who were you with? I took my phone to the bathroom. Why'd you need privacy? One time I smiled at a barista and she didn't speak to me for 2 days. It was like she was looking for reasons to explode. But the thing about suspicion? It doesn't need evidence. It just needs momentum. I caught her once, late at night, on my laptop. She didn't hear me come down the stairs. Her screen glowed with my email. She closed the tab too fast for me to see which folder she was in. Looking for a receipt, she said. She wasn't. After that, I started noticing the little things. A strange notification on my old social accounts. A second Instagram request from someone named Anna Clark, 0 followers, perfect stock photo profile. A burner email asking about an old college party I barely remembered. It didn't add up. Until one night, I got a message on a dating app one hadn't used in years. New profile. No bio. Just one message. You look like the kind of guy who keeps secrets. That's when I knew. She'd made a fake profile. She wanted to catch me in the act. Problem was, I wasn't playing the part she wanted. So I made a choice. I replied. Depends who's asking. And just like that, she thought she had me on the hook. But what she didn't know was that the man she was messaging wasn't the man she thought she was testing. Because I wasn't just responding. I was setting the real trap. Before replying to Anna, I reverse searched the profile picture. Stock image. But the account's recovery email? Linked to her old college burner account. She hadn't even tried to hide it well. So while she thought she was reeling me in, I was already watching her flail. She thought she was clever. Thought she had built the perfect trap. But every line she dropped was bait she was dangling in front of her own face. I had 2 options. Ignore it, call her out, confront her with the profile, and have another screaming match about trust. Or I could lean in. Let her dig the hole. Let her lower the rope, thinking it was for me. While I watched her tie the noose, I messaged Anna back. Kept it light. Casual. Non-committal. So what secrets do you think I'm keeping? She played coy. You tell me. Married guy like you must have a few. That sealed it. She knew I was married. Which meant she didn't think I'd guess. She thought I'd confess. That night in bed, she was scrolling through her phone like she was just checking memes. I watched her smirk. Not at anything she saw. At me. Like she already had the upper hand. She turned over and said, "You're quieter lately." I smiled. Just tired. She kissed my cheek and whispered, "You're not hiding anything, are you?" I almost laughed. She thought she was ahead. The next day, Anna messaged again. "Tell me something you've never told your wife." I stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed. "I think about leaving sometimes." I knew what she wanted. She wanted me to crack first. To admit to emotional infidelity, even if there was no physical one. So I gave her a half-lie. Not because I wanted to leave. But because I wanted to see what she'd do when she thought I might. Her response came too fast to be casual. "Where would you go?" And then, "Would you go alone?" That was the moment I knew. She wasn't just testing me. She was waiting for a reason. We kept talking for a week. She sent me flirty photos, nothing explicit. Stock lighting, carefully posed. But I recognized the necklace. I bought it for her 3rd anniversary. I checked the message metadata. The file was uploaded from our home Wi-Fi. She'd sent it while I was out running errands. While I was buying dinner for both of us. And when I got back that night, she'd greeted me at the door. Wrapped her arms around me. Whispered. "Missed you." And all I could think was, did you miss me? Or the character you created? She wanted vulnerability. So I gave it to her. Not because I trusted her, but because I wanted to see how far she'd go before she broke her own game. By now, our conversations were daily. Not our conversations, of course. I mean me and Anna. My wife's alter ego. She thought she was peeling back layers of her unfaithful husband. Thought she was fishing for guilt. Thought the more I confided, the closer she got to her gotcha moment. She had no idea the guilt she was scraping at was hers. And I was letting her stew in it. One night, she asked, "Do you love your wife?" It came through at 11:14 p.m. She was lying next to me, pretending to be asleep. I turned the brightness down on my phone and replied, "I used to. But now I don't know who she really is." I felt her inhale sharply beside me. Not enough to wake, but enough to betray herself. She was reading as I typed. The next day she was clingy. Made pancakes. Wore that oversized shirt I always said I loved. Acted like everything was fine. It was almost cute, how the guilt made her romantic again. It wasn't about saving our marriage. It was about keeping the upper hand. Later that week, Anna asked for a photo. "Prove you're real." I sent a blurry mirror shot. No face. Just enough to match the profile she already stalked. She sent one back. Another selfie. Same bathroom tiles as ours. Same wrist scar I'd kissed 100 times after she told me the story behind it. She didn't even try to cover it. I told her Anna was beautiful. She sent a flushed face emoji. Then followed it with, "Do you ever wonder what it would be like with someone else?" That was it. She was trying to bait me into cheating. As if cheating back would justify whatever guilt she was hiding. And now? Now I wanted to know what. I set a trap of my own. Created a fake email. Used it to log into a dating app she'd once used years ago. Guess what? The account was active. Not just active, it had new messages, sent within the last month. All to one guy. Same guy. Same flirty tone. Same late-night timestamps, the night she went to bed early with a headache. And the username? A slight variation of Anna. She hadn't made the profile to trap me. She'd made it because she was already talking to someone else. She just pivoted the plan when she started feeling dirty about it. She came home one night humming. Giddy. Like someone who believed they'd outplayed everyone at the table. I poured her a glass of wine. Let her celebrate. By now, I knew almost everything. I'd mapped her burner profile. Traced her messages to a guy named Marcus, divorced, gym rat, clearly an ego boost more than a real threat. But that didn't matter. What mattered was this. She cheated. Emotionally, definitely. Physically, probably. And yet? She thought she had me. She'd stopped being subtle. Started planting little barbs during dinner. "You've been smiling at your phone a lot lately. Funny how your mood shifts when you get a message." I just smile and sip my drink. Because I knew she was trying to push me into confessing. So she wouldn't have to. Anna started asking for hotel plans. "If we ever met in real life, what would you do to me?" I typed. "Everything your husband stopped doing." She ate it up. God, she wanted to be right. She needed me to cheat first so she could rewrite her own narrative. One night, she came home late. Perfume too strong. Hair too perfect for a quick stop at Target. I asked how her night was. She said, eventful. Then kissed me, more than usual. I didn't ask questions. Because I already had the answer. That night, Anna sent one last message. Want to meet? I replied. I thought you'd never ask. The next morning, I left a note on the counter. 7 p.m., room 219. Hilton off 14th. She looked at it like it was a trap. Because it was. But not for me. I watched from the cafe across the street. She showed up. Wore her black dress. The one I always complimented. She hesitated in the lobby. Checked her phone. I sent a message from the Anna account. Go in. Doors open. She did. I waited 10 minutes. Then walked over. Knocked once. Opened the door. She was sitting on the bed. Wine in hand. Smiling like she'd caught a rat. Then her smile dropped. Because I was the one at the door. Not a stranger. Not Marcus. Not her fantasy. Me. She stood up fast. What is this? I held up my phone. Showed her the messages. The photos. The account name. The receipts. And then I smiled. You thought you were trapping me. But I never had to cheat to lose you. You were already gone. She didn't say a word. Didn't cry. Didn't yell. She just sat back down. And whispered. You were never supposed to know. Too late. She asked me if I'd ever lie to her. I said, only if I wanted to protect you. She didn't ask what I was protecting her from. Maybe she already knew. She didn't move. Not when I sat across from her in that hotel room. Not when I later printed messages on the table. Not even when I read the name Marcus out loud. She looked at me like she was trying to wake up from something. But this wasn't a dream. It was the mirror she refused to face. And I was done tilting it for her. I didn't scream. Didn't ask for explanations. I just let the truth sit in the room with us, like a third person who had always been there. Why didn't you say anything earlier? She finally asked. I shrugged. You were too busy accusing me. She blinked. Then whispered. Because I thought you were hiding something. I was. Just not what you thought. She laughed. A bitter, broken sound. So what now? You want me to beg? Cry? Apologize? I shook my head. No. I want you to listen. And then I told her everything. How I found the fake profile. How I traced it. Tracked it. Matched it to her burner. How I'd responded knowing it was her, to see how far she'd go. How I found the Marcus messages. The old dating app. The pattern of late-night texts. How I waited for her to stop herself, and she never did. She stared at me. So what does that make you? Smarter? No, I said. It makes me patient. She cried then. Not for me. For herself. For the story she couldn't spin anymore. Later, as we drove home in silence, she asked one last thing. Are we done? I didn't answer. Because I wasn't sure what done looked like anymore. All I knew was this. She was never testing me. She was trying to absolve herself. And I just held up the mirror. A week later, I logged into the fake profile one last time, just to delete it. But there was a new message. Not from her. From Marcus. You okay? Haven't heard from you. So she hadn't come clean. Not even after everything. She hadn't just lied to me. She was still lying to him. And that's when I knew. It was never about catching me. It was about making sure she never got caught. It wasn't one big betrayal that ended us. It was all the little ones that came after, the quiet omissions, the half-lies, The way she started smiling like someone I'd never met. We didn't separate. Not right away. We played house like nothing had happened. Same breakfast routines. Same carefully polite conversations. Same cold side of the bed that used to be warm. But she wasn't my wife anymore. She was just someone who wore her face. She became overly kind, like a customer service rep trying to earn a tip. Want me to pick up dinner? I washed your hoodies. I got your favorite coffee. It wasn't love. It was damage control. She wasn't trying to repair anything. She was trying to erase the evidence. Sometimes I'd catch her staring at me from across the room, like she was trying to gauge how much I still knew. The truth? I knew everything. I just wasn't giving her the satisfaction of a reaction anymore. The longer we coexisted, the clearer it became. She never regretted the cheating. She regretted getting caught. One night I asked her a question I never had before. If I hadn't set the trap, would you have ever told me? She didn't answer right away. Then, does it matter? Yes. Then, no. And there it was. The moment I stopped hoping. The moment I realized she didn't feel sorry. She felt cornered. And I was the one who built the room. I stopped checking her phone. Stopped watching her when she texted. Because I didn't care anymore. Not out of numbness. But because I no longer wanted to own the truth. She could keep it. It already cost her everything. She left her tablet open one night. I wasn't snooping, it lit up on its own. An unsent email was on the screen. To Marcus. He knows. He's known for a while. But he won't leave. I think he wants me to be the one to break first. Then, part of me thinks he still loves me. Or maybe he just wants to win. She was wrong. I didn't want to win. I just wanted to watch her finally lose. She didn't say I'm sorry. She said, let's talk. But you don't talk your way out of something you built in secret and live like a second skin. It took her 3 weeks to bring it up again. Not the cheating, the future. We were sitting on the back porch. She brought me tea. No sugar. Just how I liked it. Can we talk? She said. I already knew what was coming. But I let her play her part. She started with soft words. I know I messed up. I know you feel betrayed. I know things aren't the same. Then, she pivoted, like she always did. But we have history. We built a life. Doesn't that count for something? It wasn't an apology. It was a pitch. She wasn't asking for forgiveness. She was asking for a deal. Something transactional. Like love was a mortgage we could refinance. I asked her. Would you have stayed if you were me? She didn't answer right away. Then said. I don't know. That was the most honest thing she'd said in months. I gave her my terms. Not because I wanted to save the marriage. But because I wanted to see if she'd flinch. No more secrets. No more accidental messages. You end it with Marcus. You delete every trace. And you never test me again. She nodded like she was at a boardroom table. Okay. No emotion. Just calculation. She didn't love me. She just feared the fallout. Later that night, I heard her crying in the shower. Part of me wanted to believe it was guilt. But I knew better. It was grief. For the control she'd lost. The next morning, I checked the deleted files on her tablet. She had ended things with Marcus. But not before sending him a message. He gave me conditions. I said yes. But I didn't mean it. I left the tablet exactly how I found it. Didn't say a word. Because I didn't need her to mean it anymore. I just needed her to see how empty her promises had become. She sat across from me like she was reciting a prayer. I'm trying, she said. As if trying erases what she did while I was busy trusting her. I don't remember what sparked the conversation. Maybe a silence that lasted too long. Maybe the way I didn't look up when she passed me the salt. Either way, she said it. I'm trying. Like it was some kind of trophy. Like trying meant anything after everything. I asked. Trying to do what? She blinked. Trying to fix this. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. But because she still didn't get it. You don't fix a marriage like this. You mourn it. You autopsy it. You maybe learn from it. But you don't staple it back together with morning kisses and half-hearted therapy. She had made an effort, sure. Deleted accounts. Cooked dinner more. Smiled more often. But it all felt like stage makeup. A glossy finish on a cracked foundation. That night, she reached for me in bed for the first time in weeks. I didn't pull away. But I didn't reach back, either. We just laid there, her arm draped over a man she didn't love, and mine pinned under the weight of a lie we were both still pretending wasn't bleeding. A few days later, I found a note in the laundry basket. It wasn't meant for me. It was scribbled on the back of a receipt. To herself. Don't let him see you break. That's what he wants now. It was so simple. So raw. And so perfectly wrong. I didn't want her to break. I wanted her to feel. And she couldn't. Not anymore. She left her phone unlocked on the nightstand. I wasn't going to check it. But a new message lit the screen. From a contact labeled Lauren. But the number was Marcus's. The message read. You're doing great. He won't leave if he thinks you're trying. So this was an effort. It was strategy. And suddenly, I understood. She wasn't rebuilding our marriage. She was keeping the optics alive, just long enough to rebuild her story. And I was still the villain in it. We were brushing our teeth. Nothing dramatic. No music playing in the background. She just looked at me through the mirror and asked the one question she should have known better than to ask. Do you think you'll ever trust me again? She asked it like she was asking about the weather. Like it wasn't the kind of question that rewrites the room. I didn't blink. I didn't pause. I just said. Maybe. But the truth? No. Not now. Not ever. Not after what I'd seen, and what she still thought she was hiding. Trust isn't a decision. It's a consequence. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back in full sentences and folded laundry. It doesn't return in good mornings or makeup sex or shared Spotify playlists. It's dead. And she buried it. Then cried at the funeral like someone else had pulled the trigger. She smiled at my maybe. Like it meant something. She even kissed my shoulder before bed that night. As if my lie was a bridge instead of a loaded silence. But her performance kept slipping. She kept forgetting who she was supposed to be. She left her phone face up. She started going out for walks again, during the same hours she used to talk to him. She cleared her browser history too often. Like someone hiding from themselves. I watched her spiral in slow motion. Because the more she tried, the more obvious it became. She wasn't trying to earn my trust back. She was trying to outlast my suspicion. And I wasn't suspicious anymore. I was done. A week later, I got an anonymous email. No message. No subject line. Just a voice recording attached. I hit play. Her voice. Talking to someone, Marcus, I assumed. He still thinks I'm sorry. He still thinks I'm broken. I'm not. I just know how to perform now. She laughed after she said it. Then. Honestly. I think I'm winning. That was the moment I stopped pretending, too. She kept playing. Bluff after bluff. Smile after smile. But I wasn't at the table anymore. I'd folded my hand weeks ago, and she never noticed I left. By the time I heard that recording, her voice, her laughter, her game plan, I didn't feel rage. Just silence. Just that slow, widening gap between who we used to be and who she had become. She thought she was still manipulating me. Thought she was 2 moves ahead in a game I'd quietly stopped playing. And the saddest part? I think she wanted to lose. Because some people would rather implode than confess. I didn't confront her. Didn't throw the email in her face. Didn't storm out or yell or break plates like a TV drama. I just watched. Watched her perform kindness. Watched her text someone labeled Rachel at 11:42 p.m. Watched her rehearse innocence in the mirror like a monologue she didn't believe. One morning, I packed a bag. Not all my things. Just what I needed. I left her coffee on the counter like always. Left a note folded under the mug. I trusted you when you were still real. I stayed while you lied. I watched you rehearse remorse you never felt. This is me ending the scene. She texted an hour later. What are you doing? I didn't reply. She called. I let it ring. Then she messaged. You're just leaving? After everything? I finally responded. Exactly. I moved in with a friend for a while. Filed the paperwork 2 weeks later. Didn't ask for much. Didn't want the house. Didn't care about the couch or the silverware. Just peace. Just the end. Months passed. She tried to reach out a few more times. One email said, "We could have fixed it." I almost replied. But I knew what she meant was, we could have kept pretending. Last week, I ran into Marcus. By accident. Same grocery store, different aisle. He didn't recognize me at first. Then he said, "You're her ex, right?" I nodded. He looked down. Then said, "She told me you cheated first." I smiled. "She told you a lot of things." He paused. "Yeah. That's the problem." Then he walked away. She hadn't just lost me. She'd lost control of the story. And that, for her, was the real betrayal.